Okay, so Will Johnson is finally selected. The Arizona Cardinals, who, hey, many thought maybe they'd be interested in him in round one. Ultimately, they decide not to go that route, and it seems like the reason why Will Johnson ultimately fell was due to injuries. It seemed like, the injury maybe was worse than we had realized. This sometimes happens in the draft process where people in the media don't really have access to the information that the NFL teams do, and every now and then players do fall because of injury concerns. That being said, there are plenty of times when a player falls and then ends up being still the correct pick. Like I think about the Kobe Dean recently, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, another example. I mean, it happens where sometimes you can get good players, and ultimately, this is a good player, and it's in a position of need. They're clearly trying to improve their defense if they can. They selected Walter Nolan in the first round. Now they're selecting Will Johnson in the second round, and to have him with you have other corners who you hope can step up. A lot of other young corners. I mean, you have Max Melton, Garrett Williams, and Starling Thomas, who are all 25 or younger right now. You're throwing another young guy in the mix to hopefully help complete this team. And honestly, I think part of the other critique with Will Johnson is he like a corner who can play every scheme? I don't think he is. I think you need to have him in a very specific scheme, or at least I shouldn't say very specific, but he can't do anything. Like, I don't see him as like someone who would work in a Bill Belichick type scheme, for example. That's not what the Cardinals do, so that's okay. It's fine there. So hopefully the injury isn't a problem, because if it isn't, the Cardinals just got a great player, and instead of me talking about why he could be a great player, let me get into the film and show you why he could be a great player. Let's start off with this play. What's going to happen here is, so you see the zone that Will Johnson is in charge of covering. It's the white zone, the one I've circled in white. He is the one who's standing right in front of it. And you see a route on the screen, one that could eventually get into the zone that Johnson will have to pay attention to. Well, right when this play begins, you're going to notice that it's a good route, honestly, by this receiver, running up, not giving away quite yet where he could be going, but he is going to be cutting back towards the sideline. So for Johnson, who has his hips now turned towards the middle of the field, this is actually dangerous, right? Because you don't want to let the typically you want to keep the receiver when you're playing cover 3 zone closer towards the middle of the field than you are. So when he cuts, you see Johnson kind of has a bit of a dilemma he has to make, right? I mean, the receiver is cut behind him, but watch as Johnson's able to turn quickly. He's able to keep with him and pretty much covers that route. Had the ball gotten thrown even at the perfect time, Johnson would have been in position to at least try and make a play on the ball. So even going up against good routes, he can handle it, which is good to see. He can also do things like this, which is make the good routes tougher to work, right? Like something like this, you see where he is on the field, and watch what he does right when this play begins. Watch the contact at the line, just disrupting the receiver a little bit, making things more difficult. He definitely will, he is willing to get physical if he has to make certain plays work, which is what he did there. Now, in this situation, there are kind of multiple receivers you almost have to pay attention to, and it's zone coverage. You want to watch the quarterback, but watch what Johnson does. Watch as he is able to, again, have really good instincts to cover everything up, and he's able to ultimately do a very good job on that play. So again, the instincts in zone coverage is really good. He really has a great handle for this. Also heading over here, so it's going to be a zone coverage play, and you have a receiver running a go route on the outside. That's the way this play is designed to work. When it begins, you're going to notice that for Will Johnson, I mean, this is the kind of thing where it's like, okay, listen, I don't know if he has the blazing speed that some other people have. He ran a 4.40, which is pretty good, but that was a pro day time, and I always get concerned with those. Sometimes a 4.4 in pro day is a 4.5 in reality. Sometimes it is a 4.4. It's hard to tell. But ultimately, it's okay, because as long as you're in the right scheme where you don't have to be playing press man too often, well, in this situation, if he has this little bit of space, he's going to be fine. Watch, he's able to just completely hang with the receiver. Like that play, the ball, if it was at any point thrown in that direction, it would not have gone well for the quarterback. That's really sharp defense. Also, I gotta talk about a play like this. This is a great play. This is something that you want to see. And anytime I see one of these types of plays, I'm going to bring it up in a video, because this does matter. Where you see where he is on the field. He's right around the 50-yard line, and it's going to be a running play to the other side of the field. How many corners would just give up on this play? I mean, you kind of see some other players just almost jogging just to get to the line of scrimmage if there is a tackle, but not Will Johnson. Watch what he's going to do. Watch as he's just going to hustle this whole way. He's full out sprinting, running as fast as basically everyone but the ball carrier, or faster than everybody but the ball carrier, who he ran as fast as and was able to ultimately make a tackle and save a touchdown there. Hey, who knows? Maybe you get the goal line stop and are able to make something happen. Maybe you get a goal line turnover. Those things happen. But more than anything, this is just the kind of thing where it's like, listen, teams do a lot of process to try and figure out who loves football and who's going to give it their all when they're out there. Who's going to be the guy who, once they get paid, say, hey, you know what, I'm just here to collect paychecks, and who's going to be the guy who's going to show up early and wants to be great. You can say what you want in these, interviews, but when you see it on tape, it's on tape. It exists. It's real. And Will Johnson has that. And to me, that's something I really value. And then also a play like this. So it's going to be zone coverage. You see where he is on the field. He's covering kind of the top right-hand corner of the field right here. There's also a route that could get into his gap. As you see, when this begins, quarterback takes a snap, looks over here, and I think, again, Will Johnson doing a good job of, he paid attention to the quarterback and is now in position. I would say, and this is one critique I do have, is I think he is sometimes too quick in zone to get his head turned around and play the receiver. Ideally, you want to play the quarterback a little bit more, so I did see some small things like that. But ultimately, he does get in position to make sure that he can make a play on the ball if he had to there, because there was some space and he wanted to make sure he covered it. So ultimately, got the job done, right? So yeah, I mean, as a whole, he's just a corner who I like. I think he does a lot of really good things, and again, just feels like someone who is ultimately going to work. Checks a lot of boxes. The physicality of his play, he does move in very well. He does have this great motor. He is a good hustle player. I do have questions about him in man coverage, but you put him in the right scheme, I think he can be all right. Again, the one, I guess a couple other critiques is that his best year was in 2022. But again, for corners, you're kind of going to have these up and down years. And I still liked his tape from last year, even though obviously there wasn't a ton of it. He did have a couple of injuries, so that's not ideal. But ultimately, as a whole, yeah, those are my thoughts on Will Johnson and what he's going to bring to his new team. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about Will Johnson? Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that video and want to hear more of my thoughts, well, for one thing, you can check out my movie channel. Yes, I have a movie channel. You can check the link in the description below. I do some fun things like some movie reviews, even some TV show reviews, tier list, fun things like that, so you can check that out. Also, make sure that you are subscribed and paying attention to this channel, as there will be plenty of draft content. I plan on making a video for every first round pick, many of the other picks throughout the draft, and also I will do recaps for each team after the draft is over. So I will eventually talk about every single pick from your favorite team. Be on the lookout for that, as it will be out this weekend. And also, if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter. I am at Jackson Kruger, or X, whatever you prefer to call it. But yeah, that's all I got. Thanks again for watching till the end of the video.